This is like the perfect day to catch the sun and dance away. All my friends right by my side, they're lighting up the darkest night. Now they play our favorite song. Everybody sing along. The sunlight makes me smile. My friends are dropping by. No one will break my stride. This is a good time, I'm feeling fine.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Spring 2020. I'm Atlas. I'm joined by LS for what is the second last time before we go on hiatus for a little while. This is all due to the coronavirus. It is a big deal, especially over here in Korea. We are taking all the precautions possible, and that is going to include taking a little break while everything is getting towards its peak, is what it feels like over here.
Yeah, I think that if you've been following the Corona Map site or whatever the websites are, you can track basically what is happening in Korea. And I believe that there is over 5,200 cases right now.
Yeah.
Korea has tested an insane amount of people. They have drive-thrus you can go through.
Yeah, this is the crazy thing, is because people are looking at Korea saying, oh, it's a disaster. But actually, I think Korea is one of the countries that's handling it the best.
Korea's handling by far the best, yeah.
Yeah, because, I think the only reason why everyone knows everything is because the government's actually very open with telling everyone exactly what's going on. So hopefully you guys, wherever you are staying safe. And, you know, don't trust all of the reports that they're saying there's not very many people if you know that it's difficult to get tested wherever you are. So just be careful. We're going to do the same thing, and we're going to come back stronger than ever for a summer split that might be extraordinarily condensed.
Yeah.
We'll see. Are you ready for the 7 days a week?
No, I don't think so.
Who knows? Well, let's see what's going to happen with the standings. Today's actually a big one because we start off with DragonX versus DAMWON Gaming. If you remember back to the Worlds Qualifier, it was that 5-game series that DAMWON were able to come out ahead of when they toppled DragonX. This was a DragonX that had sort of fallen off a little bit, but certainly did make a good run during that particular final tournament of the year, at least domestically. So I'm looking forward to seeing what DAMWON can do, because honestly, they will be able to make their way much closer to solidifying their spot on the western side of the bracket. You can see right now at 4-4, they're not exactly safe, especially with Hanwha Life snapping at their heels, and they will be playing after they do against APK, which is likely to be a victory for Hanwha, you'd have to say.
Yeah, we'll see how that matchup does end up colliding later on. I think that can be one of the closer matchups that we would even be able to have so far here in Spring 2020. Taking a look at the POG standings, player of the game.
Yep.
BDD leads right now, 700 points. Nuguri trailing him, as well as Chovy.
And Chovy and Nuguri both going to be playing in our first series of the night. So if it's a DAMWON win, you best believe it's probably going to be on the back of some Nuguri plays. He has been picking up so many of their POG points, especially for a team that has, 4 match wins, right? To be on 600 points, that is a very large percentage of the victories that DAMWON have picked up, all going over in part to Nuguri. So we are going to be moving forward though, and the pick and ban rates are going to change because now we're on 10.4, so maybe things are going to be changing up just a little bit, but these champions don't necessarily stand out as champs that have taken the 10.4 hammer.
Take a look at LeBlanc. 95.8% means that she might be due for a nerf with Riot's new
hey, yeah, I mean,
criteria.
I think this was only for week 4, so
it's still
I don't know whether
patch.
is that how that works?
I think that's how that works.
Because also
Riot might nerf her.
Whoa.
Which makes no sense.
No, that doesn't make any sense at all. Maybe it has to be in like all pro play globally.
Oh,
isn't that how that works?
I'm not
Because then I'm going to just look at Korea and say, oh no, we better ban
You know what?
LeBlanc.
I am going to message one of the balance team members.
I think
in
you're going to have
between
to
the
do that.
breaks.
You're going to have to do that. Maybe you just do it now. I could just talk over some,
right, go
some
ahead.
champion buffs if you like. Mystic's favorite in Caitlyn did get buffed. It's just some early attack speed, but anything does help, especially Caitlyn during her laning phase. Might help that trough not feel quite as bad as we got some Lux buffs coming in, and Gnar being buffed is a real worry because these Gnar pickers into set might decide that it's going to be an even better idea. But with players like Cuvée making his way onto the Rift, especially a little bit later on, that certainly will be something important. Lux support, not sure whether she's going to be coming back, but we shall see. Carrier, of course, has played her already. I believe it wasn't to a victory, though, if I'm having a look at my statistics. No, it wasn't quite a win. So there's a little happy face there, but actually it was a sad face at the end of the game. As Garen's being buffed, and there's a lot of... Mumu's name is just Cloud Templar. That is so good. I should have had a look at this graphic beforehand so it didn't catch me completely off guard.
The Garen changes don't really do a whole lot. I think that Garen could probably be competitively viable. I just don't think that especially Korea as a region would be the one to debut him. The Amumu change is nice, but it's not nice for pro play.
No.
The Darius change, the Diana, the Jace. Jace is the most notable out of all of this. I think that we can have... I mean, we've already been seeing Jace.
Yeah, it's just
pop
a mana
up a little
buff,
bit.
right?
So, well, I believe his mana buff, and he's gotten other
And
buffs.
to the skies.
To the skies
as
well.
well.
So, really nice changes for Jace. Mordekaiser, I believe, is buffed inside of the jungle, which doesn't really mean anything. Ramus doesn't really mean anything. Silas is something that can be impactful. Riot does seem like maybe there's a skin on the way. You know,
Hey,
and
there
just
you
trying
go.
to throw that out there.
But also, we've
Talon,
seen Silas actually start
we've seen
rising to
Silas.
some prominence.
Right.
Yeah.
Talon, Udyr, and Zed, these changes don't really do anything. I mean, Udyr's change is a complete joke.
He's still Udyr, unfortunately.
He's still Udyr, yeah. And Talon, I believe he's getting buffed again in a future patch. I'm not entirely sure, but obviously these are all inside of the jungle. Zed is inside of the jungle. Zed's jungle change not really applicable. You take a look here at champion Nerfs, Aphelios. Huge nerf to the only champion with 100% pick ban rate. Only Infernum is left. Don't think these changes are going to move him at all.
No,
He's
I don't
still
think
going to
so.
be the premier AD carry. The Soraka change is the most interesting. So she ends up being buffed in mid to late game in matchups where she was already a heavy counter pick and where you'd really want Soraka to flourish. And then obviously in bot lane, she's going to be better against the champions that she would have been picked against in the first place. But we haven't been seeing Soraka bot. What I do think this probably means, though, for LCK, is they'll take the Soraka nerf and say that she's probably just gone.
Yeah, that is generally what happens. As soon as something gets hit with a nerf bat, it generally leaves. Singed going to be banned going to be nerfed, mostly a solo queue issue because of course we haven't been seeing too much Singed. Aurelion Sol, another similar story to that one. Sona's nerfs are purely for top lane Sona, taking away some of her mana options and then giving them back if you do have an ally in lane with you. A really intelligent buff in my personal opinion.
Now, in terms of summoner spells and runes, Exhaust going up 2.5 to 3 seconds is nice. Doesn't matter, still take Ignite. Hail of Blades changed to 8 seconds even while in combat. So
that's
this is
cool.
really big. Now, there's a champion that I think that we've talked about sometimes on the broadcast. I know I was talking about it all throughout 2019, is mid and top Callista is something that's really powerful. She utilizes Hail of Blades really effectively. She's starting to pop up on the Korean solo queue ladder. I think even some people are playing her in Europe and NA on solo queue. Don't know if that means it'll convert to the main stage, but Callista's already been coming back in competitive in bot lane. So that's really nice.
That's really exciting. We'll look forward to seeing whether that is going to be picked up. Of course, Genji, I believe, playing tomorrow, and Ruler was our premier Callista player for this year, of course. But, I mean, I guess we're about to watch DragonX, and Deft was one of our best Callista players. Speaking of which, DAMWON versus DRX will be our first matchup of the day, with Harmer Life versus APK coming up next. And then we have our final 3 matches until we're back from our hiatus. Sandbox versus Genji, Afrika versus T1, and then rounding it out with Griffin versus KT, a 2018 LCK Summer Final rematch.
What a climax, and I won't have you there for it.
No, you won't.
I'll be there with
But
with
you'll
Valdez.
be able to put all of your energy,
Yeah.
you and Valdez, into that one match and make it absolutely epic. Just like that 5-game series was when Score finally won his championship and made everyone cry. Tears of joy.
Points of the match. Our goal is playoffs. DAMWON being the gatekeeper of the West. They really need to win here today, but I think that they're the heavy underdogs, especially with how they've been drafting, how they've been playing. I think that DragonX it's not likely to assume that DAMWON should be able to win. Reclaim the first place. DAMWON trying to get the 7th win. Obviously, I think, again, as I just said, they're the heavy favorites. And can Nuclear outplay the Damage Machine depth? Probably not. This might be one of the biggest discrepancies that we could have in LCK in terms of any individual matchup. Depth versus Nuclear, pretty big.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Showmaker versus Chovy is another really fun one. We remember this one from back in the Griffin versus DAMWON matchups. Just two extraordinarily mechanically gifted mid laners, but Showmaker really hasn't been showing up so much over the last couple of weeks. He was pretty lackluster in their matchup versus Afrika, and Afrika isn't a team that's necessarily known for their mid lane talent. And they did fall in that matchup 1-2. So I think Chovy might have a more easier time than he would otherwise expect up against his former rival. As we have a look at some of the team stats, 7-3 with First Blood is DAMWON, not too bad. DragonX don't like getting it. They just don't like First Blood.
Yeah, DragonX there with 23.8%. They are the lowest in the league at that. Win rate with First Blood, I guess maybe they just don't even want to get it, you know, to be completely honest. It's almost coin flipping if they do.
I don't seem to mind. First Blood deaths, though, Noggery with 7 of them so far. Way out in front, as Chovy and Doran sharing that record at 5 with DragonX. And all that stat is illustrating is the fact that teams have identified the way you beat DAMWON is camp Noggery, then keep camping Noggery as long as possible so you can try your very best to make him irrelevant, and that works maybe 60% of the time.
Yeah. We'll see what DragonX can do here today, how Doran is going to fare against him up in the top lane. As we take a look at some of the highlights, that's Sandra throwing some blue balls Ezreal's way.
Yep. If you were worried about that, if that made you upset, just go back and watch the Gen G match where Ruler did that 2 Syndras on Ezreal over and over again. It's quite cathartic for Ezreal players that are used to just getting one shot by the old Sandra. Yes, this was a DAMWON that did have one very good game against Afrika.
In here on the set, this is where the F5, Brock Lesnar, just not able to beat the Soraka engine.
Although this was one hell of a series, to be honest. Like, you remember, you and Valdez were there on the day, and they were some entertaining games, if not necessarily the most high value, as this is Chovy just obliterating. Sorry, what
Trainer Red.
Yeah, Trainer Red up towards the top side, obliterating Sword, his former compatriot. And certainly showing that there is maybe just a little bit of happiness in being able to take him down. Not entirely sure, but they were certainly focusing Sword very, very readily during that matchup.
Well,
and they managed to beat on.
You know, and it would be really interesting to see if Chovy would go top lane for any specific dynamic. I think that would be one of the most exciting things that we could get in a series here today.
Oh, yeah.
This was him on the set with the Ghost and the Flash.
And the fleet footwork. He was running real quick.
Trying to sustain it as much as he possibly can. As Set is doing a lot of work.
Yeah. Man's lifting. This was honestly a shellacking of a series. DragonX certainly coming out swinging against Griffin, and you know that based on all of the storylines in between that matchup, but this is one that also has them, as we've illustrated earlier on. And Chovy versus Showmaker is, of course, going to be the matchup that we look out for. I think there's a lot of parallels between Canyon and Pyosik as well. Canyon, of course, debuting only a year or two ago for DAMWON, and certainly had a lot of those sort of solo queue god, like, this is incredible, this guy is like the new prodigy, and then the same thing can be said for this year and Pyosik. So let's compare a lot of different things so far this series, just as long as you don't look towards the bottom lane, because that's not very fair.
That is not very fair, indeed.
But look at how close these stats are. It's insane.
Yeah, the
stats
damage
percent is nuts.
I mean, I'm just,
0.02 different.
Yeah, and the CS per minute, 0.1 difference. So
Silly.
that is absolutely bonkers to think about. Starting lineup here, Beryl, Nuclear, Showmaker, Canyon, and Nuggery. A lot of people probably wondering where's Ghost after seeing the announcement that he did join DAMWON. He will probably be debuting for them, most likely in round 2.
Yeah, I think that you can make substitutions after round 1 and going into round 2. I'm not entirely sure what the rules are when it comes to picking up players mid-season.
Yeah, he's not even listed actually.
He won't be listed yet. And it's whether or not it's round 2 or whether it is the summer season for when he's actually allowed to play with the roster. But Ghost did actually have a pretty decent year last year on Sandbox. Didn't look too bad there at all.
They're both pretty similar in terms of skill level, but I would probably give the edge out to Ghost. And
I think Ghost was also projecting upwards as well.
Yeah, DAMWON, they need something going on, as they're going to be starting here on the blue side against DragonX today. And remember, this is patch 10.4, so we might see some changes inside of the bans. Ornn, not going to be going anywhere yet.
Nope.
It's also not going anywhere next patch.
Nope.
So probably expect that Ornn might get hit in 10.7, maybe?
Oh no, Vi is globally banned.
Oh.
Yikes.
That's fine. Her brother Set.
It's going to completely ruin the whole draft.
Yeah. I wonder, do you know why?
No, no idea.
I have no idea why either.
She's just globally banned.
I thought she's been globally banned.
Huh?
I thought she's been.
Well, I mean, it seems that way, doesn't it? I mean, I'm going down my list of the amount of Vi picks for 2020 and 2019, and I'm getting up not very much.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're taking our time here on DAMWON side, looking for their second ban. Will be the Set, as Ornn should be banned here by DragonX.
Yeah, Ornn most likely will be the next ban, and then I do still think that Aphelios needs to be banned as well. So DragonX probably going to go with the Ornn and the Aphelios.
I think DragonX probably don't care about Aphelios because it's Nuclear, and they just feel like they can smash the bottom lane anyway.
That could be a pretty good thought, as Sandra does bite the dust.
Yeah, still Zoe available and Ornn available, and Aphelios. I think Zoe's a big pick for both of these teams. Chovy and Showmaker certainly star Zoe players. But 5 seconds to go, and we're running out of ban slots if we're going to take that one away. Feels like DragonX want to leave up a lot in this game, as Olaf is going to be the ban. A champion that also got hit with the Soraka nerf, because no longer is that combo quite as powerful.
And
I think they have to ban Ornn, right?
Yeah, I would really think so. This is going to be very surprising if they don't. He'll probably end up being B1'd by DAMWON in the event that they don't. Are they not banning? Okay, Zoe.
All right,
so 3 bans at Showmaker. And now, do they B1 the Ornn?
What I guess the question was that DragonX asked is, do you want to B1 the Ornn or the Aphelios?
Yeah.
And I think DragonX probably would have wanted the Aphelios, even though it has been banned. Deft is just a machine on that pickup.
Perhaps what they're thinking here is putting the Ornn for Doran just so that he can sort of neutralize Nuggery might be a good idea.
Yep. Also, Chovy is a very good Ornn player, so you've got a lot of flexibility in first rounding the Ornn here for DragonX. As it will be locked in, but what do they augment it with is now the question.
Well, has a win rate of almost 70% here in pro play.
He's pretty good.
I mean, he's all right.
Yeah.
Not, you know, nothing to write home about, but
okay.
Yeah.
I'll put my pencil down.
Yeah.
I was about
Misfortune.
to write something, as Misfortune is going to be locked in. The sort of pretty understood second tier after the Aphelios.
Yep.
And Misfortune not taking any hits in 10.4 or anything like that, so I guess that gap has been shortened just a little bit.
And let's see.
I
what's going to end up happening?
Oh,
LeBlanc.
wow. Yeah, Showmaker just going to lock that one away for himself. And with all of the bans heading towards the mid lane, LeBlanc getting through with her gigantic 90% win rate is pretty scary here for DragonX. But you could imagine that Chovy probably has a plan into this one. It's not often that you see LeBlanc's blind.
Yeah, LeBlanc blind is more so for comfort as well as just sheer confidence at that point. So let's see what DRX is going to actually pick into it, whether it will be a neutralizing pick. I mean, they could just move the Ornn mid lane, and that would be pretty obnoxious for the LeBlanc, even though she would have pretty strong priority. Now, a lot of people are looking at this and thinking, oh wow, LeBlanc Lee Sin, thinking that it's a power combo, but there's definitely a lot of ways to invalidate it. Galio coming in. This is one of the picks that Chovy and, I mean, BDD this season has shown a lot of power on.
I actually really like it. Really gives some burly boys around the misfortune, allowing Def to really hard carry towards the later stage of the game. Certainly looking like there is a scaling aspect on DragonX's side thus far, but their long-range engage and the heroic entrance to allow sort of global assistance from the Galio is very frightening. As that's a Braum ban coming in here.
Braum ban coming in specifically just for the Misfortune ultimate. And you know what's really surprising is no fasting Senna is picked up. So
no, that's actually
both
very
of these
strange.
teams are a little allergic. Nothing to get freaked out about. But apparently victory is, you know.
No, sometimes you don't want it.
It's causing an allergic reaction.
And I guess DragonX maybe needed to pick the Ornn and therefore had to pick a AD carry that was able to be picked by themselves. But I guess you can pair anything with the Senna, to be honest.
And Leona now banned away. Are you ready? Are you ready for the R4 Nautilus?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's happening.
You ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I've prepared myself.
We're going to the ship.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether I want to. Not anymore. Final ban here for DAMWON. We'll see whether they look towards the jungle yet again, because Pioshik still with a little bit more to look out for, as the Rek'Sai is going to be taken away. And he's going to hover the Kindred, or Deft is for him. And actually, Kindred wouldn't be too bad. They do have a lot of frontline already.
Kindred's interesting, but obviously the Lee Sin kick able to knock out targets.
That's a good point.
And LeBlanc is also so mobile.
Okay.
Oh.
We are going Nocturne Galio from
Nocturne
back in the
Galio
day.
with Ornn. So DragonX really trying to just fight fire with fire here.
And also counterpicking for support, which is certainly a more, a more gentlemanly choice.
Yes.
As we'll see what DAMWON are going to do as far as their bottom lane is concerned. And Nogari's pick also will have to come in. Aatrox is his decision into the Ornn.
Aatrox doesn't actually beat Ornn if Ornn just rushes Bramblevest.
Yep.
At that point, the lane is just shut down. Aatrox can't win it anymore. And so there's a very thin window where Aatrox can try to basically get a freeze and then rely on his jungler like Lee Sin to come up, especially because you're against a farming jungler like Nocturne, who isn't going to have a lot of utility in the early stages of the game. So we're going to have to see Nuguri's lane manipulation, but if anything that we've seen out of him so far this split, he likes to just push, which is not ideal in this matchup. Taric, I think, is a fantastic pick here by DAMWON. It's really trying to respond to what DragonX are trying to achieve with this super hard engage. But in doing so, they've really made some of their champions off-theme with one another. Where you have some champions that are ideally looking to go in, but now with the Taric, you're trying to pivot back into some sort of like defensive nature and then trying to turn it back onto your opponents. The Senna coming in so late, I have no idea. Well, it looks like it's probably just going to be a support Senna.
Yeah. It's just Senna Misfortune there towards the bottom side. I don't mind it as much, but it does thin out the front line that DragonX have put together for themselves. You almost assume a tank support here in the LCK, but this is a welcome change-up, and will add a whole bunch more damage, actually, to this DragonX comp. It's looking more like the mono-red DragonX that we're used to seeing as the draft went down. It was a little bit of a worry when it was just the Galio and the Ornn to pair with the Misfortune, but A little bit more damage coming in there now.
Yeah.
And also the Wombo combo follow-up of the Paranoia into the heroic entrance is some scary stuff to deal with, of course.
Tarek, Aphelios, LeBlanc, Lee Sin, and Aatrox. Definitely, this team composition wants to get ahead early. If this starts going late, in DragonX, they have the Ornament, they have the Galio.
Yeah.
Nocturne, probably even going to get Yumu's Wraithblade. You have MF and Senna. I mean, there is just so much more scaling, even though this team composition has a lot of mid-game power, too, and it has a lot of ways to just start diving and accelerating. DragonX, I think they're just walking away. They're stealing this pick ban.
It's almost a perfect DragonX draft as well, because when do DragonX ever lose lanes? They just don't. They don't lose a laning phase, and now Doran is so protected on this on towards the top side in what will be the most difficult lane for DragonX to deal with, because of course Noguri does need to be helped. Oh, sorry, does need to be dealt with. But let's see how it is actually played out. Because there were some really fun matches from DAMWON last week. See whether that can continue as we move into our little half week here before going on to our hiatus. Nuclear is just switching weapons. Good to be able to see all of them. That
is a pretty skin. I've actually never seen it.
Neither have I. What the heck? Is that one of the new ones?
That actually looks so good.
Oh my god.
I'm getting like a legendary Pokemon vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like it has like a Darkrai feeling. I never actually played that gen, but
no, definitely I can feel the Darkrai vibes.
Yeah,
I feel like
that is so cool.
Yeah. What were there was like the 3 psychic type legendaries.
Are there?
And in
what gen?
In so you know how you have the legendary dogs in Gen 2? And
yeah, then there's Latios,
birds,
Latios.
And you have Latios, Latios. No, but you also got the 3 psychics.
Who?
So it's like Azelf, Yuxi.
Oh, those.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know about those.
You don't know about those?
I know about them. I just I don't know what gen they are. I don't even know what they look like.
Oh, they're just
I've only
like
heard
little psychic guys.
Don't they look like Jirachi?
A little bit, yeah. Poor man's cool. Jirachi, yeah.
Yeah, he's very cute.
Well, Carrier and Deft zoning away Nuclear and Beryl, as you would expect in the early stages of this lane. You don't have very many buttons as good old Aphelios. And this is going to be oppressive. Probably the lane with the biggest issues as we move topside. This is the one that you're going to be looking out for if you are a DAMWON fan, to see whether Noguri can actually influence this matchup correctly and get himself the kind of lead to carry them through a mid-game that could be otherwise very, very rough.
And Doran did take Grasp of the Undying in this matchup. And so that'll scale pretty effectively against the squishies on the side of DAMWON. As Deft and Carrier just doing pretty standard Deft and Carrier things.
Yeah.
Massive amounts of poke.
Yeah. And winning by double CS in the early stages. It's what happens for basically the first 5 minutes is Deft and Carrier manipulate their lane to make sure that whoever their opponent is just can't farm, really.
Yeah.
As Canyon, he's looking to try and go aggressive onto Chovy here. You can see Chovy playing
you have to bait Chovy.
towards the correct side.
Yeah. Chovy is playing the correct pocket. Wish that we could draw on the screen, but
not yet.
That's forbidden technology right now. As you can see, oh, he canceled it.
That was super sick as Canyon gets in there with the safeguard. Taunt is going to come down as Chovy not going to survive this. First blood going over to Canyon. Took a lot of health bar for it, but it was nicely played by DAMWON to secure first blood so early.
And Chovy ends up dying there. That's really the only timing that he can die. You can see that he just wanted to crash that minion wave and then eventually get out. So the Lee Sin ended up paying out. Doran!
Oh, the Infernal Chain's almost broken there. There's the Bellows Breath. Now they're going to try and turn around, but Doran just flashes on top of him. He'll make it a 1-for-1, and he'll be all right with it.
And that's a pretty big win for Ornn. More than it is for Aatrox. As you can see, boots picked up as well as the cloth armor. A little surprising that I think he's rushing Ninja Tabi rather than just the Bramble Vest.
I mean, he could
early
go
on.
towards the Bramble Vest
Yeah,
as
he
well,
still
but let's
can.
have a look at this one first.
So Chovy waiting on the taunt, ends up getting it, but he's locked up in place, doesn't really have anywhere to go. As let's take a look at this. Nice Bellows Breath by Doron, pretty good movement. Sends out the Q, gets pulled back, but Bellows Breath ends up coming out. Really good that Doron didn't flash immediately.
And I believe he actually got that auto off right as the Safeguard shield was dissipating as well, which is why it looked like it was doing so much damage. As Doran still, like, he's playing about as aggressively as possible in this matchup, and he looks like he's showing understanding.
Absolutely winning. And remember, we talked about this earlier on. Nuguri, all he does is push, and you're not achieving anything. This is the opposite of what is good right now. You're shoving the Ornn underneath the turret. He has double refillable. You have no potions. You have a Kindle Gem, a Doran's Blade. And all that you keep doing is shoving and shoving and shoving, achieving nothing. You're not getting any chip damage. You're not getting any plate damage. Ornn's outscaling you. You're not manipulating your lane relative to your jungler. Lee Sin was on the left-hand side. So he actively made an effort to pull the wave. Lee could come back. Ornn doesn't have flash. You can zone him out of XP, deny him. That's how Aatrox wins this matchup. But when you play it like Nuguri's playing it, I mean, it's a pretty quick go next fast.
Well, he's just happy about how this one's going so far, is Doran, despite having that one death in the column. Remember, it was Lee Sin that got the kill as well, so in the pure laning phase, still going to be a great news story for the Ornn. Let's see whether Canyon can utilize this extra gold to try and get DAMWON ahead. On Vision now, starting off this Drake, is Pyosik looking to go back home, doesn't have Paranoia available just yet. As okay, we're in a little bit of trouble here. Carrier taking a lot, but does have the Piercing Darkness up. Pyosik will come down, but Showmaker's going to make the first rotation. Duskbringer comes forward. Pyosik has the shield, so it is just Dragon secured from DAMWON. Otherwise, just trying to mitigate the pressure.
And it's a nice pickup for DAMWON here. Infernal does so much for them in the later stages. Really not sure what that was, but ended up working out.
Yep.
Chovy losing a lot of HP. Yeah. And you can see Doran coming over, finds Canyon, I believe, at the very last second. They know that he's on the red, but obviously Doran can't move over.
Yeah, and Pyosik not at level 6 yet. Not actually comfortable to go for this one, as he's going to have Canyon getting out of there. Not going to have Shelly available just yet. And Chovy looks to be struggling just a little bit, despite being his normal Chovy self and being able to farm no matter what. Now going back to base. See what these items are going to turn into. It might be a Haunting Guys early. No, it's not. We're going Proto Belt. This is the Paranoia. Ornhorn comes down, and good night, Noguri. Doran going to pick up his second for the game.
And this is basically all she wrote up in top lane. It's pretty much over at this point. Aatrox, without the aid of Showmaker and Canyon on the LeBlanc and Lee Sin, is never going to be able to resalvage this lane now against the Ornn. Nuguri's down a level. So many grass procs as well because of the way that Nuguri's playing it.
Yeah.
And so Doran is just so far ahead.
And you can see bottom lane also pretty far ahead. You can see Nuclear has pulled it back a little bit. Even on items now as well, as they both got that one back, and it's only 6 CS in the lead for Deft. Certainly better news for DAMWON.
And now right now, the Balmy Cinder ended up being picked up by Doran first, so he loses the option to freeze waves rather than going Chain Vest Ruby Ruby, which allows you to just keep the wave in front of your turret. You're pretty much gank immune. Aatrox can't do anything to you. But now with the Balmy, he's going to be shoving into the Aatrox, which it can be a little bit more volatile. You can see the Lee Sin starting over on the Rift Herald right now. Nocturne, I think, just going to end up taking the blue. Chovy probably doesn't need it. As Nuguri, all he does is keep pushing. Another grass proc going over to Doran.
Yeah, and even able to... Yeah, he's just getting so much free damage. But yeah, Doran should be all right as Shelly does go down. You can imagine that the Balmy Cinder pickup would probably feel better if you're utilizing it to try and push to get control over the top side and lock down the Shelly. But Shelly's not going to be an option with Pyosik being on the Nocturne and Canyon being relatively accelerated in this game as well. 2-0 and 0. The Lee Sin is a big boy. Deft taking a lot of damage there as Nuclear lands the Q. Severum Crescendum now though, so won't have the range of that Calibrum to help fight back against this bottom lane. But now just trying to hold this minion wave as best they can.
I'm going to be very surprised if Doran doesn't just purchase Bramble Vest here. If he actually gets chain... Okay, well, it's very bizarre. Very bizarre not to just get that item. You get it early on, it scales so well.
Yeah.
Into the later stages. You don't need to complete it into a Thorn Mail. Has so much value against so many champions on the side of DAMWON.
Especially just in his matchup right now.
Yeah,
right?
in this matchup in isolation. Uguri, I mean, he had a wave in front of his turret, instantly shoves it back out so that it resets. You know Nocturne's on the left-hand side. Now we can see that Pyosik moving over to the right, but now Aatrox is a little bothered to walk up. And this is a byproduct of him just immediately queuing in the wave. Maybe thinking that Nocturne was about to come top to dive, but even still, that wave shove out wouldn't have prevented anything. Luden's Echo already completed for LeBlanc in mid.
We've got a bit of a curious build here from Chovy, who grabs that Kindle Gem and then goes towards the Lost Chapter. I was expecting Proto Belt, but he decided that that's not where he wants to go with this one early on. Maybe wanting to mitigate any mana issues, keep that spell spam up. Carrier and Deft are back in this lane, and they've rebuilt that CS advantage once again. Currently sitting at 20 in the lead. Now Canyon moving on over once more as the Q is going to miss. Chovy gonna get chained up regardless. Still looking for a little bit of extra damage in response to the chains. Haven't put down Shelly just yet as Pyosik. Oh, he's gonna get kicked back. Beautifully played by Canyon. As there's a heroic entrance, he gets out onto Nuclear, but Nuclear does have a fair bit of damage there. Canyon in trouble. Deft is gonna grab that kill, and now the Aphelios comes back into the fight. Ult comes out from the Taric. We got teleports coming forward, but Doran will be able to throw over the horn, and that grabs the Taric kill. Nogri taking a lot also as Doran has to flash to get himself out. It's messy, but it's working. Both teams are going to back away, I believe 2 for 2 in the end.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea what Pyosik was thinking with the ultimate onto Aphelios. I mean, he did end up getting the flash out of Nuclear. And we have a little bit of a mess going on down here in bot lane, but not the end of the world. Chovy does have teleport available.
I think Pyosik just wanted to get out. He was using Nuclear as a taxi.
Perhaps that would be... Well, we'll have to see inside of the replay. Bullet time coming out. Not going to be able to zone off the LeBlanc or the Lee Sin of getting turret plates. Did manage to save at least one more, though. Sunfire Cape already completed for Ornn. And DAMWON now threatening to get this Mountain Dragon. I think they're going to get it.
Deft is just 1v2ing against Beryl and Nuclear here as Chovy teleports in. Doran's going to come back down as well. All 5 members of DragonX wanting to guarantee this Mountain Drake, a Drake that is actually very, very powerful.
Yes.
On this particular roster of champions. The Ornn, certainly in particular. Let's have a look at this one again. It was Canyon finding Pyosik there, and I really feel like you have to spell shield the first Q.
Well, he gets kicked, and then the Galio ult comes down, and I thought at that point just go onto Lee Sin. If he just went onto Lee Sin would have died instantaneously, would have been saved.
Maybe.
But he goes on to Nuclear. Ornn ultimate ends up coming out, getting a kill there. Keria having to flash away at the very end. Doran super healthy. And all in all, just a bit messy.
Well, there's a flash onto Keria. Good night. It's just a free one there towards the bottom side. Goes to Beryl, which is not exactly ideal. However, Keria just a little bit too far up in a lane that he had no real business being that far up in. Showmaker going to come on round. Looks for a red buff as Chovy's going to join this little party. Oh my god, he stole it. Okay, Showmaker just being frustrating as Canyon looking for Chovy once again. Gets Justice punched, and the Winds of War are doing a fair bit of damage. Doran's going to come back down, and there's the Ornn once again. Knockup's going to come in onto the Lee Sin. Kick back onto Pyosik there, but the Dawning Shadow flies on forward, makes sure no one's going to die, and the Ornn is going to pick up yet another kill. 4-1-0. on the Ornn right now. Doran is like the hard carry of this team.
Yeah. He is having a pretty impressive performance here, doing really well in lane against Nuguri. And really just showing up here today.
Yeah, Doran had a bit of a rough one in their last series as Moonlight Vigil landed. And when you got grabbing him, it's really hard to get away from the Aphelios. So nicely played from Nuclear. And this was frustratingly played from Showmaker.
Yeah, Showmaker ends up stealing the red, but then Canyon, compelled by a Cosmic Force, ends up going in a little bit too far. They don't respect Ornn. End up getting locked up there. Lee Sin kicks the Nocturne. Doesn't manage to achieve anything beyond that, though. Mid turret has fallen.
And also, he put down a control ward looking to safeguard to it, and then just decided not to safeguard to anything because I think it was on cooldown anyway. So, a little bit of a worry. Nuclear down here. We do have turret plates that fell about a minute and a half ago. And Shirley is up and available. DragonX still haven't freed themselves from the cuffs of the bottom lane, which is what they like to do throughout almost every single game that they play. But Essence Reaver completed. You got Ninja Tabi done for Nuclear, actually. A little bit more defensive. But Def just going for the Zerkers as per usual. And Showmaker has the most gold in the game somehow. He's just been farming a lot more. I mean, there might be 4 kills on the Ornn, and he has a 400 gold bounty, but no, Showmaker has the most gold.
Well, we'll see what else transpires here inside of this game.
And as we move towards the mid game, is this going to be the time where DragonX are going to come online, or is this DAMWON's opportunity to get back in?
So the Mountain Drake actually helps out a lot for some of their champions, especially slowing down the Infernal Dragon. The Infernal Dragon needs more time until it starts outscaling the benefits of the Mountain Drake. I mean, it perhaps is doing so on the LeBlanc maybe against various targets because generally it doesn't amplify magic resist all that much.
Yep.
But you would look at this mid-game, and we're pretty much even. I mean, it's a 9,000 gold advantage for DAMWON, but you look at the items on all the champions, and you ask yourself, well, how does LeBlanc, Lee Sin, Aatrox, Aphelios with these items actually threaten a Ornn Galio team composition without any real neutral objectives coming up that they can realistically force something to be contested on? And you have the Lee Sin actually falling behind the Nocturne. Koshik already, I mean, he's been level 10 for a little while. Lee Sin's still level 9. Things are just getting more and more problematic, and when the ornaments start coming in for DragonX, the game is just going to turn completely on its head. So we're in a stalemate right now, but a stalemate benefits DragonX. And every single minute forward, it just continues to benefit DragonX.
Yeah, it could certainly be a worry. We'll see whether DAMWON can actually get themselves some things around this map. You can see already there's a fair bit of vision bottom side. Top side's a bit of a gentleman's agreement as far as where these control wards are going. But Shirley's pit is with eyes on it from everyone. Showmaker in the little brush here looking for Carrier. Does manage to get the one shot, but will get instantly answered. And there's the horn. It gets blown and thrown all the way towards Beryl and Nuclear. Heroic Entrance will come down, grabs the knockdown, the knock-up, and smashes the Taric into the sky. Noguri coming on in there with the World Ender, but whose world is going to be ending, my friend? He has to flash out. There was no way that was going to work, and DragonX will augment their one team fight with an outer turret.
They're going to get an outer turret. They got 2 kills, one of which is super valuable. Also,
oh, they should be able to get Drake as well.
As we were talking about, how things are going, we had Showmaker pick up an Oblivion Orb into a Mountain Dragon, as well as currently present magic resistance on the enemy team, and virtually no healing. So we're just waiting for that to be completed.
He can one-shot Carrier more easily.
That is true.
Again.
So the one target.
Yep. Or 2. Def doesn't have a lot of magic resist either.
That all right.
He'll have his QSS soon. He will have his QSS
He will get the magic resist later. So,
but that's not when DAMWON are going to win.
Whoa.
To be honest, I don't really mind. As we have a look at the replay once again, everyone lying in wait on DragonX's side, and a little bit of unfortunate timing for Showmaker to start this one up. And this is what this comp can do. It just runs at you.
Yeah, and I have no idea what Nuguri's doing. He ran in only to immediately flash back out as if he was going to do anything other than tickle Ornn. And right now, they pick up a Rift Herald, and if you're a DAMWON fan, you think, wow, great, we got a Rift Herald. There's no turret plates.
No.
And that's not going to be used to get anything meaningful unless we completely cast or curse it, and somehow they ace them in a team fight, get Baron, and then also utilize it. But Abyssal Mask almost going to be completed for Doran here. We have the first potential ornament able to be gifted, most likely going to be the Infinity Edge.
Yeah,
for
Molten Edge
Deft.
an opportunity, but the Obsidian Cleave will also be in very soon for Pyoshik as well. Plenty of ornaments on the way.
We have a bit of Build-A-Bear going on for Chovy.
Yeah. Yeah, hasn't quite figured it out yet. We'll see what he's going to go into next. I think the Proto Belt being finished up, certainly good to have it earlier rather than later. Doesn't scale the best, as we've spoken about many times on this broadcast. But I mean, he could build himself a Death Cap, but he could also build himself a Zhonya's just to make sure that augmented money is going to be possible.
Yeah.
Luden's Echo might come in. I don't know what this Lost Chapter is necessarily doing, because if you've got a Proto Belt, you can't build a GLP. So Doran is going to knock up Noguri here. Deft makes him brittle. The flash over there from Doran, who just headbutts the wall. That's a whoopsie.
Well, is he going to actually try that? He's going to, yeah.
Yeah, I think Deft has got it. There's the double up. Deft grabs the kill. So Doran being saved some of his blushes there, as our friend Papa Smoothie would say.
All things considered, they did invest the MF flash for that, as well as Doran's flash, and Nuguri didn't do anything other than die. He's not really worth a whole bunch of gold, and they don't get anything meaningful out of his death. If you ask yourself the question, what changes if Aatrox had to spend 8 seconds recalling, 10 seconds regening all of his HP, and then the additional time moving back out on the map? Nothing really is all that different. So MF and Ornn both invest a really big summoner spell that they now won't have with the next Ocean Dragon. I actually think it's a loss for DragonX.
All right. We'll see whether DAMWON can actually utilize it, as Shirley in the hands of Canyon here. Channeling the back. That was blind there from Chovy. Had an idea maybe Canyon was going to be in the area. So he's going to go back home once again. And vision available there towards the top side. Let's have a look at this one again.
Yeah. Take a look at this. Bottom wave is about to reset. So they end up using the Ornn ultimate. They flash over. They do get a grass proc. And then immediately after this, Deft ends up chasing him down. So the minion wave that Ornn was going to get, he's going to get anyway. There's no golems that you're going to end up getting off of this. Deft just flashes. Nothing else in mid and top lane really happening.
Oh, it may have accelerated him towards the Molten Edge earlier, so that he can have the Molten Edge power spike for the Ocean Drake that's coming up in a minute and a half. Yeah?
Don't look at me like that.
I'm trying to justify flashing after an Aatrox.
2 flashes for nothing. For like 250 gold.
And he already has the Molten Edge, and there's still a minute to go. And I think now he'd
Why does LeBlanc have Morello?
I don't know, dude. Why is grass green? Oh, it's chlorophyll. Never mind. There's DragonX looking for a siege. Showmaker diving forward. Q misses there from Canyon, though. And the snare is going to land on the barrel in the backline. DragonX look like they can do this all day. And it'll only get worse the more of these Ocean Drakes that they're going to take. So it's about time that DAMWON really stops it. Like that you were taking the photo of the Morel and Omicron. It's potentially a fight going to be breaking out here. Going looking for a knock-up, doesn't find it there. Showmaker just trying to get what poke he can down, but the Galio is not taking any damage whatsoever. Shirley turns up in the mid lane, but I think this is just a timeout issue. As the chains are going to land.
Oh, that's so much damage!
Straight on top of Barrel. Great double knock-up. There's the Dawning Shadow over as well, and that's a very late ulti to come out from Barrel. Did absolutely nothing as Showmaker looks for Pyoshik. Great. He's going to go into the stopwatch, though, to keep himself alive. Flashes immediately to get over the wall, as that is one version of Showmaker, and he doesn't have any more of those left. Gonna have to play very defensively. Canyon very low. Barrel very low. Nuclear has a lot of damage available with the weapons that he has right now, but it's looking really dangerous because all of these piercing darknesses are keeping DragonX so healthy.
Dragon has 1 patience, yeah.
Well, it is going to be Pyoshik locking it down. Double Ocean Drake and Soul Point now for DragonX.
Soul Point is so hard for this DAMWON team composition. And really, I mean, Showmaker with the absolute 10 head knowing that the Morellonomicon might be necessary at the later stages for the Ocean Soul. And at this point, things are just looking really rough. Obsidian Cleaver completed. Zanya's Paradox gonna end up coming in here soon, most likely for Chovy. And just remember, the Mountain Dragon is helping with each base level that comes in, future resistances that end up getting picked up.
Yep.
DragonX are so far ahead, even though the gold score is only 1,000. That does not really... It doesn't really paint the real picture.
And how can
this is like a 10,000.
Is there a way to imagine DAMWON winning a Baron fight at any point in this game? I can't picture it. It's not in my head.
It's not possible. Really, I mean, DragonX have to really donk it up.
Yeah, really let go of your keyboard, you know.
Or Showmaker needs to get some sort of a miracle pick. But that's just not really that feasible, given that Deft and Kyria, I mean, Deft has his stopwatch on him. And the other thing is that they're normally going to be getting hugged by the Galio. So the only hope in this game is Showmaker getting a pick onto one of the 280 carries on DragonX. And if he can't do that, any straight-up team fight is just going to be a complete blowout.
Yeah. It's getting worse and worse here for DAMWON, as now Total Gold will be in favor of Deft. 3-1-2 now on the Misfortune, building towards his Bloodthirster pretty comfortably. You might look at that and think Guardian Angel, but likely it will be Bloodthirster coming in next, and he'll break the stopwatch and then complete it into a GA afterwards. Duran just being a brick wall in this mid lane, as they'll just go and clear out all the vision around this Baron. Beryl went back for a ward reset. We'll be able to come out onto the map with a lot more, but see whether DragonX can utilize this. And they did. Look at all of that vision around that Baron pit. It is getting very dark for DWG.
Was that a pun? Because Nocturne?
Yeah.
I thought you were so funny.
And Piercing Darkness, because like Duskbringer, Piercing Darkness synergy. It's pretty cool with Senna Nocturne.
Oh my, you were actually hilarious.
Senocturne.
Honestly, I super liked you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
On Linder.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
I haven't met her.
It's Leak Kinder.
Ah, got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Like kindergarten.
Yeah, sort of something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
it's you know, it did very good for choosing Clash teammates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not a bad, yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. Outer turret falling top side of the map as DragonX continue to build their lead forward. Probably the biggest real advantage that they've had so far in this game. As you're correct, that Paradox now available to be uploaded as Pyoshik going to dive in, gets the heroic entrance down on top of him as well. And DragonX are just going to back away, testing the waters by the looks of things. Is good stun onto Canyon, who is trying to get some sort of play happening, but no chance there whatsoever. He has to get out, tail between his legs. No flash required as Showmaker trying to dart around this fight, trying to get meaningful damage, but honestly, it's just looking like it's impossible. The snare lands onto Canyon. Chovy looks for a taunt, but can't quite get it. There's the bullet time onto Showmaker. Almost instantly kills him, as the Dawning Shadow will require the Mimic to come out. Great Justice Punch, and there's the on finally blown. And Noguri was thinking about a flank, but realizes that that is going to be impossible.
There's just nothing that DAMWON can do. And this is, again, not to do result-based analysis, because I don't think it's result-based at all. This is what's so beautiful about the DragonX team composition. You had counterpick mid lane that also simultaneously outscales. You have counter matchup top lane that also simultaneously outscales. You have a jungler that is infinitely more relevant than the Sinner that is Lee Sin at all stages of the game. You have the Misfortune and the Senna down there in bot lane. The Senna outscales the Taric at every single stage. It's so nice how they not only found lane wins, even if Chovy did end up dying, they lost the turret, whatever, while also just being so much more relevant in every single stage of the game.
Yeah. It's impressive on DragonX's side, but it's also a bit unfortunate that DAMWON decided that things like the Aatrox into the Ornn were going to be a good idea, etc., etc. Also, letting the Ornn go in favor of the Aphelios, who was recently nerfed on this patch. Of course, Nuclear is doing fine, 2-0-1 at the moment, in fact, on the Aphelios, but are they going to be able to save themselves from this Ocean Soul? I have a feeling the answer might be no.
Yeah.
It's going
Canyon
down.
has the Hail
Oh
Mary.
my god, somehow Misfortune was able to pick up the Dragon. And now, how are DAMWON supposed to do damage to this team? They're trying to get in from round the side. The chains will
Look at
land. It's
Pyoshik.
Look at this good. What the heck was that? His health was regenning more than Showmaker's damage. Oh, it's just ludicrous. Deft walking casually at the Aphelios like he doesn't do anything. And then just shoots him a couple of times and gets all of his health back again. This game is absolutely
over. Yeah. But Atlas, there's only a 4,000 gold lead.
Yeah, who cares?
So I really feel like, you know, the gold lead is so close that if DAMWON can really just find a good angle team fight, they might be able to bring it back.
Oh, Pyoshik inted.
Okay.
Maybe that's going to help.
There it is.
Yeah, signs of life. Okay. Well, Showmaker looking to try and run the gauntlet here. In fact, it's going to work out relatively well. This will buy them time where DragonX can't be heading straight towards the Baron or anything like that. And it's going to be the teleport used to get out. No harm, no foul. Let's have a look at this team fight once again.
Yeah.
Just have a look at the health bars of DragonX.
Just watch Pyoshik.
Look at the balance.
On the left-hand side, once he goes in. Take a look at this. Deft ends up getting the Ocean Dragon. Chovy not able to get the knockup prior to Canyon using that stopwatch. Orn Ultimate comes out. Look at Pyoshik on the left-hand side against Showmaker. Watch his HP. It's a pretty good objective.
Yeah, not bad.
Ocean Soul, again, it is slightly above well, it can be miles above Infernal, but in some cases only slightly, but that really depends on team composition.
And also how the team plays, right?
How the team plays. This Dragon is really the game ender. Second best objective under Elder.
Oh, we're just going to go straight back into a team fight here as Canyon is dead once again. Carrier getting the autos here onto Noguri, trying to get out of there as best they can. There's Chovy waiting with ultimate at the ready. Try and get over here. Good snare is going to land as DragonX will claim position at this Baron pit. Rift Scuttle did go down, but you can see DragonX, they're just going for another 50-50. They don't seem to mind because there are no smites available on DAMWON's side as Doran, he's just going to play Gatekeeper. And this Baron will be taken and then DAMWON will be dealt with. There's the flash forward. Beryl gets his ultimate to actually go off now. As the Cosmic Radiance does, I don't know, basically nothing. It's going to be Pyoshik that grabs the first kill. Beryl goes down as an afterthought. Doran is walking at Nuclear, and it looks like Nuclear is healing him. And they'll take the Baron afterwards, and DragonX are going to walk down the mid lane and win this game. That was an Aphelios with 3 items, actually healing Doran.
I mean, yeah, this was a close game.
I think it was a great demonstration of the power of Ocean Soul and even that little Mountain Soul in the back. Sorry, the Mountain Drake in the back there actually doing a fair bit of work, given Doran's item build.
Canyon trying to salvage this game, ends up dying.
Oh,
okay,
God.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Fair enough.
Okay.
Decided that it was Showmaker's time to go. And now they are going to take down the Nexus. And this game was weirdly anticlimactic, given the fact that we felt like it was over so incredibly early. But DragonX still were able to play it so cool, calm, and collected. They're going to look for some kills here before the end, but the Nexus did not want to stay around. Congratulations, DragonX, able to move up 1-0 in this series, their final series of round 1, and will be solidifying their top spot in on the standings. Of course, unable to catch up to teams like Gen G and T1, but with only 2 losses thus far and a 2-0 here, they will be able to get themselves to a guaranteed 3rd.
Yeah. It does look like they're probably going to be positioned to just ride out game number 2 in similar... There's just no resistance.
Yeah. And
it seems at any point.
They will be moving over to the blue side, so this is, of course, where DAMWON are strongest, having that counter pick on as far as their last pick is concerned, but the priorities in their side of the draft were...
Atlas.
Weird at best.
They blinded LeBlanc and then picked Atrox willingly into Ornn, so...
I mean, yeah, it's almost like they blind picked everything but did it poorly. It was pretty odd, because remember, it was a blind Lee Sin as well, who we know doesn't work that well. But yeah,
I love League of Legends.
I do too. I prefer it when things are a little bit more even from the get-go. But DragonX certainly showing that they had a better draft, so they were smarter there, and they also played it out pretty damn well. I mean, First Blood did go over onto Chovy, but that didn't matter.
Deft, he has a damage chart buff, I feel like. It is very...
Deft does more damage than other AD carries.
Yeah.
That's just how that works. If it reads Deft, then like all of his skills do like 50 extra damage. That's how he was the best Ezreal for so long.
All right. Well,
as the goal difference, did you see that point where DAMWON had hope? That small point there, and then we
that was
off.
false hope.
Yeah, we fell into
that
the
was
trench.
like that was like a fake news report.
Yeah.
That led people to believing, and then the actual reports came out.
Yeah. It looks like one of those tropical islands, actually. You know, the small islands, and then it goes off like the coral shelf, and that was the end of the game. So we'll see whether DAMWON can pick themselves up from beneath the shelf and pull themselves together for a game number 2. But that will have to be after the break, and we'll see you then.